So Katrina confesses to a murder I committed. Apparently, there's a video of me taking her out the store into a car and driving off. It's not a good video, but she didn't want to take no chances of me doing time for protecting her. She felt responsible and thought she had a better chance of beating the case by claiming self-defense. The DA wasn't buying her story though. He said she had a history of crime, and with a new mayor being elected based on his tough crime policies, she was railroaded straight to prison. And that really fucked me up. Cause ever since my mom passed, Cat's been my everything. And as much as I hated Bess in the end, he really did teach me a lot. Closest thing I had to a real dad. Ironically, he's also the first person I murdered. This was truly a dysfunctional family. Things unraveled as fast as they got started. But that's how it goes on the streets sometimes. They say it was all good just a week ago. And being a street nigga living in the hood, it prepares you for a lot. The hood was buzzing once news hit. Everyone knew Bess was half a psycho. People only showed him love out of fear. Cat had a lot of love and support though. Everyone knew we was close, so they tried getting as much info as they could out of me. But I used the game I learned from Cat of saying a whole lot of nothing. Then Sin calls. See, since that night, I've been low.
Yo,
so he wanted to check on me and see what was going on.
So, cuz, you good?
Yeah, I'm chilling.
Worried, man. I know you fucked up with the cat. It's tough, though. Sure, she be alright.
She be alright. Yo, fam, you know what I keep thinking?
What?
I should have never listened to you.
About what?
About going to see Homeboy so quick.
Okay, but if you think we didn't, don't you think it would have been a rap for Katrina?
Yeah, but if I spoke to Katrina like I wanted to, she probably wouldn't have been there in the first place. And it wouldn't have been a rap for nobody, including my fucking seed.
Look, cuz, coulda, shoulda, woulda. Well, how you even know for sure that was your seed, man?
Listen, cuz, I love you and all, but I ain't in the mood. She ain't gonna lie about it being my kid after literally almost dying just to be with me. Then take a murder charge? You know what I'm saying? That don't make no sense.
My bad, cuz. Like, I just know how bitches be moving sometimes, huh?
And if it was one of these dumb, thirsty chicks out here, you'd be right. But Cat ain't lying about that type of shit. She fuck with niggas' minds and manipulate them and all, but listen, man. If you call or talk shit about Cat, we can hang up right now, because I don't really want to hear it.
Nah, I'm just concerned because I know your money fucked up. All our money fucked up right now. None of us working, and we ain't did a lick sense.
Yeah, my funds is getting kind of low. I got a few things ready to get lined up, though. I'm also thinking about going back to school. Need a little extra for tuition funds. See, after long nights of lovemaking, Kat used to talk to me about going to college. She always said we have to prepare for a future us.
Now you talking. Whatever you want to do, cuz. I've been thinking about going back to school myself. But we gotta lay these fools down now and get this money. Make these motherfuckers pay tuition for the living.
Word. See, family, I didn't want to be like Bess. An old nigga still trying to be young, living off women, selling drugs and robbing people. I never robbed a working man a day in my life. I always thought about my mom getting robbed of the little money she made cleaning apartments just to pay rent. She came home sad, mad, and broke. There's nothing like the embarrassment of coming home from school with your friends and them seeing that eviction notice on your door. Your real friends feeling embarrassed for you and your fake friends laughing, cracking jokes under their breath. Next step is going to the court trying to work out a payment plan, or we homeless. I didn't want other families going through that experience. I felt people who robbed working people were suckers and cowards. In my mind, it was different robbing people who reminded me of the guys who robbed my mother and ultimately killed her. So for the next 3 to 4 years, me, Sin, Flip, and Bonnie go on a crime spree unknown to most. My grandmother had a connect at John Jay College of Criminal Justice who found a way for me to get enrolled. She was happy I was willing to go back to school. I'd go every other semester while supporting myself on the street. I was willing to get a job, but nobody would hire me without experience. It's damn near impossible for a young black man to get a decent job without a connection or a ton of experience. Once I started college, I became more focused than I ever was in high school. Criminal justice classes was fun to me. Watching crime scene photos and learning the science of police work was dope. Bonnie once asked me, out of all the colleges in New York, how the hell could I go to John Jay? I laughed and told her it had the word crime in it, and that's what I knew best. I could write a paper breaking down criminal activity and get an A every time. She thought it was insanity to go to school with a bunch of potential cops and cadets. I saw it as a bonus. Once I knew which students was cops, I'd sit next to them picking their brain on the nuances of being an officer. Nothing else interested me at that school though. I was always lucky to find people who'd help me with the classes I never studied for. I developed a great system on how to cheat on tests. I'd sit in the back near the door, unstaple the test, and pass a few papers under the door to a female friend who'd take the test for me. We'd rotate the papers until I was done. We had a couple close calls, but never got caught. My crew was great at never getting caught doing nothing. My plans was always laid out smooth, thanks to Cat and Bess, and also thanks to the NYPD. So after a semester, I used some of that info to help with BLD juke strategies. We'd go up and down the Northeast from New York to VA robbing drug dealers. We'd rob a dealer in VA and sell the drugs to another in Philly. Rob a dealer in Maryland and sell to someone in DC. We had family and friends all over who put us on to other dealers they knew. We keep the money and sell the drugs we sold, all profit. You'd be surprised how many drug dealers out there be slipping. We had Black, Hispanic, and white connects. We only fuck with official people we knew from the street. Never know if you the one being set up. Flip knew most of them since he was going out of town the most, hustling from a younger age. I really didn't trust no one, so I'd always be careful. If it didn't sound right, I trust my instincts no matter what the rest of the crew thought. That night killing Bess was a tough lesson, but a lesson well learned. Not calling Cat will always haunt me. All was good until the one time we decided to do a job in Baltimore. See, Flip connect KO, tells him about some drug dealer moving weight that be slipping. It was a little suspect to me because I couldn't figure out why he worked with us after this Dominican kid in Washington Heights who did business with a guy Flip did business with sold him some fake coke. Flip did body the kid in his Benz while he was making out with this chick in Fort Tryon on Washington Heights, but it still didn't make sense and felt funny from the jump, especially with Flip uncharacteristically rushing the job. Plus, Baltimore niggas is wild. A lot of New York niggas went out there to hustle. Some very successful, some not so much. So we had to be more and start riding around looking for this nigga. KO in the back trying not to be seen. Finally, we see fam coming out of 7-Eleven. KO says, there you go right there. He gets in a black Nissan Maxima and pulls off. I just wanted to get a read on the situation and plan the shit out. I'm sure homie ain't riding around with a bunch of cash and drugs on him, unless he really stupid. But Flip out of nowhere says, we could get him right now. Sin says, fuck that, let's lay him down now. I noticed the kid driving in and out of traffic like he hip. I told him they bugging, and I call it off. Flip gets mad and says, fuck that, let's do the shit now. You're being too scary, and I'm tired of sitting around waiting for you to get money. Sin said, word, all that college shit making you think too much. Bonnie didn't say much. She tried keeping the peace. I said, you two niggas bugging. Since when do we move erratically? Since when do we do a jukes without having an idea what the fuck we gonna get? We gonna drive 3 hours to rob a nigga of a few dollars when we could set him up for a bigger score? What the fuck am I missing? Been doing this shit for years. Never been caught. Never been shot, stabbed, beat up, or arrested. Was taught by the fucking best. And you think I'ma listen to you two now cause you upset? Fuck out of here. I said I'm calling this shit off. I'm going back to New York until y'all focus. On the way back, everybody was quiet. The energy was tense. When you dealing with street niggas and a big argument happens, anything can go down. You used to handling disputes in a violent way. I seen brothers shoot each other over the dumbest of shit. So I'm watching everybody with my hand in the same pocket as my gun, off safety. Maybe it's the weed, but I felt paranoid. So I tell him to drop me off in Delaware. Had this young red-bone shorty named Simone I met in Philly who lives there. I didn't usually like younger girls, but there was something about her that kept my attention. She reminded me of girls in Queens, New York. You know the type. Came from a good 2-parent household, but loved them street niggas. And we love them kind of girls right back, especially when they cunning and quick thinkers. She reminded me of how Kat probably was at that age, except she already had a kid. She'd usually come see me in New York, but this time I made a pit stop in her town. Luckily, she had access to a friend's apartment since she still lived with her parents. When I get there, I'm still a little pissed high, and I drank a 40-ounce of OE on the way, but I'm excited to see my girl. At first, I felt like I should have never gone there because we get into a fight over some stupid shit, making my day even worse. But then we make up the way lovers do right before I leave in the morning. I was able to get all that pent-up anger and frustration out of me and come back to New York with a clear head. A few weeks passed, with Bonnie being the only one politicking between all of us. She tells me Flip has another job and wants to talk to me. I told her let's meet up at M&G Soul Food Restaurant on 25th in Harlem. That's 125th Street to you non-Harlemites. I love their smothered chicken. As soon as we link up, it's like nothing ever happened. I realized how much I miss this dude. I could sense he has similar thoughts. What's understood doesn't need to be spoken, they say. We always been fam, brothers for life, and that'll never change. Flip says he got wind to another job in Jersey City. The potential come up should be anywhere between 50 to 100 in cash, and who knows what in drugs. Plus guns is always a bonus. You can always make money selling guns. It's so hard to get a gun in some cities, even working people buy one illegally to protect themselves. The Mark is one of the biggest drug dealers in Trenton named Prime. He got a disgruntled employee who wants to get him robbed. Bonnie then encourages Flip to tell me the other big news. Flip says the reason why he been bugging lately is because he got a kid on the way and he need money for a ring and a new crib for the fam. His girl Kim want to get married and move fast. Kim's dad ain't having her be no baby mama living in his house. I couldn't help but to think how I would have been if Kat had my seed, probably bugging like Flip. A real man goes hard to feed and protect his family. I gave him a pound and said, congratulations, bro. Let's get this nigga Prime and get your family straight, homie. Prime's spot was in the back of a medium-sized grocery store. I told him we didn't need none of the grocery money. We in and out smooth. Anybody flinch, lay him down. Prime's work at Jerry's our inside guy in Prime's organization. He claims he's getting short of bread. Sadie's, that's Prime's wife, heard him slick talking and told Prime, and Prime had him beat up. Sadie's and Prime got a 10-year-old son who's some kind of basketball prodigy. He got some game that Sunday that everybody's supposed to be at, so that's when we gonna go get him. When Sunday rolls around, we going straight doing our thing. I said get down or get laid the fuck down. One guy pulls out, Singh catches him, bomb, before he can get a shot off. Jerry says chill, that's B.O.D., let them get what they want, and they'll leave. Don't die for Prime money. I said that's a smart nigga right there, you better listen to him. And we start taking everything. Damn, dude was right. They got cash, drugs, guns. This could be the jackpot. But hold up, what's that? Sound like the front door. Is that a woman's voice and a kid? I asked one of the workers, who the fuck is that? She said that's Sadie's and her son. Fuck, they not supposed to be here, I said. I remember thinking about my first jokes with Kat telling me to stay outside and watch for unexpected shit. You don't always have that luxury though. I tell everyone to chill, maybe they just leave. Then the guy Sin Shot yells out, help, I'm dying in here. She comes in saying, what the fuck? And all hell breaks loose. There's another guy with her, and he pulls out and busts a shot at Flip. Flip shoots back, but he hits Hades. Bonnie shoots the guy in the mouth while he runs out. Me and Sin let off a couple shots before trying to get as much money and product as we could. Get the fuck up out of there. Somehow during the shooting, happened to glance at the boy's face in shock over his mother. She's unconscious and blood is all over the place. I yell at everybody, we out. I get in the driver's seat, throwing everything in the back with Bonnie and Flip. She's trying to plug Flip's gunshot wound. He says he's okay, he just want to get back to New York. I'm driving fast, but not fast enough to get pulled over. As soon as we cross GW Bridge, I let Flip out a block from Presbyterian Hospital. The bullet went right through. a virtual flesh wound. We get to my crib and we all start reenacting what just happened. Probably just killed the wife of this gangster nigga right in our backyard. Bonnie says turn on the news. That shit may be on there. Hopefully it won't be no big news story. Probably don't want no attention neither. That's the good thing about robbing other criminals. They don't want to involve police or media either. Then Flip calls to check in. He says it's good. Told the doctor straight bullet got him. Don't know where it came from, he said. Told Lacoste the same thing. He also spoke to Prom's worker Jerry. He said Sadie's is dead along with the other worker, but the guy Bonnie shot is still alive. He said they had a party for the team next door, but Prom was out of town, and he's fucking livid. Flip also said Jerry had the nerve to ask for his cut. I said his cut. Flip said he spazzed the fuck out on that fuckboy. He was supposed to tell us they had that party. One of us could have died. He's lucky one of us don't kill him. I said, Flip, just chill and heal up, bro. We gonna get you your cut. All in all, we was only able to grab about 30 in cash and some coke. I only took 5,000 for myself. Gave about 2,500. That was part of my cut to Flip as a present. Bonnie said she'll hustle off some of the coke with Sin and get us the money later. Then they pieced out and left. It was late, but I was still on a rush. Couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about that kid's face. Thought about my mother dead just 8 years ago. I got off my futon and went outside to smoke a Newport on the steps. This guy who lived on the first floor named Calvin came out. I didn't really like Calvin. He made it hard for me to move in. This guy used to use my apartment as a place to smoke crack with the local female fiends while his wife and family was asleep downstairs. He kept telling Dickie he'd move his stuff out so I could move in. But after 2 weeks of hearing that shit, I went with Dickie to his apartment and I told him if his shit wasn't out by tomorrow, I'd throw him and his stuff out the fucking window. Everything was gone the next day. After I moved in, he had to use Dickie's apartment, who was also a crackhead. They'd have parties at least a few days a week. The whole building was starting to become a crack house, really. I supplied the drugs sometimes when I was in town, and I had extra. Nobody in the neighborhood knew Calvin was a crack fiend except the people who witnessed him sucking those stems. Even trying to get his meat hard in them rank stench rooms. There'd be an apartment full of crackheads getting high in the bedroom, bathroom, and living room. I do give him credit. He woke up every day, put on a suit, and went to work as a salesman in a car dealership. He'd hypocritically talk about Dickie's drug problems to the block business owners and older heads with nothing to do. That I didn't respect. I got a lot of faults. Being too loyal is one of them, but not on this one. Dickie looked out for me off the strength of cat, so I sung Calvin whenever I had the opportunity, just to let him know, you can fool all these people, bro, but I know you. This particular night, timing was everything. He must have sensed something was off with me and had a moment of clarity. He said I was too smart to be out here on the street. He said he could get me a job paying great money working at his dealership. I thought about my deceased mom, killing Bess, Cat being locked up, and the look on that kid's face. I wondered how watching his mother die would affect him. Will it affect him the same way my mom dying affect me? Will it make him funny style, antisocial, untrusting of people, and angry? Will he continue the cycle of robbing drug dealers and killing? Or will it make him strong and determined to break the curse? I don't know, but for some reason I felt like if I take this opportunity to work with Calvin, it might save that kid's life and prevent him from spiraling down the path I did. At some point, everyone who hasn't totally become a sociopath wants a chance to start over. So I say, Calvin, I'll do it. Hook me up with that job. 2 days later, I go to Calvin's job, Laredo's luxury auto dealer on 11th Avenue in Manhattan. I met with the manager, Brian, a cocky little black guy with a big head who thought he was cool. Try picturing George Jefferson on crack. I could tell instantly he was a fiend. He wasn't that older than me, but thought he was hot shit because he was making a six-figure income as a manager, and his lame ass didn't want to give me a shot. I don't blame him now, though, looking back. I was rough. I came looking like a fly street kid and not a professional salesperson. I didn't have a suit or shoes in my wardrobe. But then I spoke to the owner's son, Robert, who agreed to give me an opportunity. He said come back on Monday clean in a suit for a real interview. Only problem was I didn't even know where I should go buy a suit. I decided for some reason to go to the east side of 42nd Street. I walked into this small suit store and told them I needed a suit tailored the next day. I didn't tell my crew my plans at first. Shit, I wasn't sure if I could sell cars. I don't know nothing about cars except how to drive one. I didn't even know how to speak professional. I was rough around the edges, to say the least. So this might only last a few weeks, especially since there's not much training. They give you some reading material and have you shadow other salespeople once or twice. The first thing you notice is how much salesmen get abused by managers at the desk. The desk is where the sales manager sits to strategize with salespeople on how to sell you a car and make the most money. There's a system and a rhythm to it. Hey, I got this customer on stock number N45789. He wants to lease it for 36 months, 12,000 miles per year with only $2,000 out of pocket. He said Auto Nation gave him a payment of $425 a month. He wants to know if I can beat it.
So he wants me to beat that fucking deal. He wants me to beat that fucking deal that he didn't make when he was there. Huh?
Yes.
All right, so where's the credit card? Oh, you don't have it? Oh, so not only does he want me to beat the deal he got somewhere else, but he won't even commit to it. Go back and get the fucking credit card. Bring me the money, you weak fuck.
They always want a salesman to bring credit or cash to the desk. It shows commitment and gives the salesman more control. The salesman will normally go back to the customer trying to get his credit card. After that back and forth, he arrives back at the desk with an offer of $375 and a credit card. The manager will then call him a weak fuck and write down, usually with a Sharpie, 36 months, $3,500 down, and $599 a month. The salesman will then look on the paper and say, what the fuck is that? He's gonna walk. The manager will keep his card, send the salesman back to the customer saying,
get him to do the fucking deal or you go home with him. You got it? If he doesn't do the fucking deal, you walk out the door with him.
I noticed this Chinese salesman named Vincent got abused the most. He talked more like a wannabe Brooklyn Italian mobster, a real character. He had a childlike way of speaking and would say inappropriate things just being honest. For example, he told me early on salesmen make their most money off Black and Spanish customers, which I instantly took offense to. He noticed the look on my face and he said he was just being honest. He said they normally have credit issues and more ignorant to how things work. Now I know a lot of salesmen feel that way, but would never say it, especially if they're not Black or Hispanic, speaking to a Black or Hispanic person. But more on Vincent later. After 2 weeks of watching this over and over, Brian tells me to take a customer. I'm a little nervous greeting the meagerly dressed middle-aged man with a slight foreign accent. I introduce myself and he tells me his name is Paul and he wants to buy a mid-size SUV. Brian tells me to show him a brand new Jeep Grand Cherokee Limited. I take him to one and offer him a test drive. We go out on the West Side Highway. He likes everything about it. I say, okay, do you want to buy it? He says, yes. I go to Brian and I say my customer wants to buy this car. How much should I charge him? Brian says, what's on the window sticker? I say, almost $45,000. Brian starts laughing to another salesman named Rich. They both look high as fuck. Brian says, tell him it's $50,000 plus tax. I tell him, okay. Paul, it's $50,000 plus tax. Paul says, okay, can I take it home today? I go to Brian, I say, he said he want to take it home today. Brian looks at me, still laughing, not taking me serious. He says, sure he can. How's he paying for it? I go back and ask the customer, how you paying for it? Paul says, can I pay cash? I said, I'm sure you can.
I have $10,000 cash on me. I can get to the bank, get the check for you.
I said, give me the cash. I go back to Brian's desk with his $10,000 and I put it on Brian's desk. Brian stops laughing. He said, what are you doing? I said he wants to give you $10,000 in cash and he's about to go get a check for the rest. He just wants the exact amount with tax. Brian calls up the finance manager, Sal. He talks to Sal in the corner. Sal goes over to Paul. Brian tells me to just listen to Sal. Sal talks Paul into financing and putting down only $9,000. He tells him if he puts down $10,000 in cash, he has to alert the government, so $9,000 is better. I get the car ready, which is a whole job in itself, and Paul comes out of Sal's office happy as a pig in shit. I give him the keys, go over a few features, and he's gone. I walk into Sal's office to see Brian smiling with the money in his hands. Brian counts out $3,000 in cash and hands it to me. I say, "What's this for?" Sal starts laughing. He says, "I love these green peas." Brian says, "You gotta be the luckiest rookie ever. You got that customer to pay us $5,000 over sticker, and we got another $5,000 in rebates from the factory." I said, "Huh?" Brian said, "Look, I'm being nice. I don't have to give you shit, but you made a score, you lucky son of a bitch. Your first customer was a laydown." I said, "A laydown?" Sal says, "Yeah. A laydown is a customer who lays down and does everything you tell him to do. The best customer, like taking candy from a baby. A stick up without a gun." Bang!